thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
You're absolutely welcome. Well, you are used to having fans of a big show because you are on House of Cards, but you went to Comic-Con, so I'm sure you know the fandom of the Hunger Games is something on a whole other level.
Unbelievable.
And these are people who have expectations. They're into the books, they're involved on Twitter, on the website. So were you worried going into this role?
I was actually really excited going into the role because you get to join such a wonderful franchise with a really nice track record, and that's something that's just so well cast. It's the easiest thing showing up to work and you're sitting across from Jennifer Lawrence or Woody Harrelson and Philip Seymour Hoffman, like all these Julianne Moore, like all these wonderful actors. So I was really excited, a little nervous, but really excited being a part of it.
I'm sure you would be. So did you read the books when you prepared for this, or did you just stick to the screenplay?
I read the books. I actually had seen the first film, and then during the casting process, I kind of began to cram and get caught up and try
That's what I was doing
to get
yesterday.
In terms of the books, try to get a better sense of what the character was about and the larger story arc beyond the actual Hunger Games film and book itself. And I was just really moved by how well told, how well written, and how well thought out the whole story was.
And your character, who you play, is Boggs, who is the right-hand man to President Snow and also a bodyguard to Katniss. And it's a really physically demanding role. So what did you do to have to prepare for that?
Well, I thought it was important that I felt different from my natural self. On House of Cards, I have to be a little bit slimmer, fit nicely into a suit, and be believable as a lobbyist. And I felt like with Colonel Boggs being in the military, so to speak, that I needed to gain a little bit of weight for myself. So I put on like 5 to 7 pounds and was just working out in a way that I don't naturally work out. I usually just kind of run and kind of keep it real simple. But I kind of had to touch the weights a little bit more than I do, just to kind of feel a little bit more present in my body, and therefore like a little bit more present on camera.
And all the gear that you guys have on, was it heavy?
Oh, it was. I had about 25 pounds of gear on. Wow. Yeah, easily, just with the vest and the helmet and the mat. Yeah, it was. And then the gun itself was like 12, 15 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was a lot of stuff.
Wow. So in the book, it was hard for me to figure out if he was a good guy or if he was a bad guy. So how were you able to kind of bring that into the role when you were performing?
Well, I think it's funny just as an actor when you're playing someone who even the audience might think of as a bad guy, which Boggs isn't in my mind. I just think you have to keep, no one thinks of themselves as being evil or a bad guy. You just have to be in the moment, and those choices have to be justifiable from your point of view. So I just made it about like understanding what's going on in the scene, being in the moment, understanding the stakes, and that's for the audience to decide whether they like someone or not, or whether someone is a good guy or bad guy, depending upon what side of the story they're kind of really rooting for. And everyone's always rooting for Katniss.
Right, of course. I think in every opportunity or every situation that you're in, there's a lesson that you take away from it. Yeah. So what was the biggest lesson that you learned making this film?
It was just wonderful being in such a supremely successful franchise and being around people that were so humble. Like, you wouldn't know it. Like Jennifer Lawrence, Woody Harrelson, Jeffrey Wright, they're the humblest people that I feel like I've kind of worked with in this business. Francis Lawrence. And so all the other stuff, the extra stuff, some of the ego stuff you get involved with in some of these other projects, it didn't exist there. And that was this really refreshing and a wonderful reminder that people can be really successful and really grounded.
That movie looks like it is going to be good. So The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 hits theaters tomorrow, and tickets for the film went on sale already October 29th. The previous 2 films sold more than 1.5 billion tickets worldwide, and I'm sure this one's going to be a blockbuster too.